Hi friends, I'm Ashley and welcome to Darling Cottage Diary. Today I'm going to show you how I'm making a super cute pen pal flat mailer out of a lot of things from our Ephemera Club mailers this week. If you don't know what Ephemera Club is, it's part of my Patreon community. I make and send out little ephemeral designs for you to add into your journals or any kind of paper craft you're doing, decorations, pen pal, snail mail, etc. So this month I tried to kind of go all out with it being the end of the year. I designed all of this little booklet cover, which can be just a card, but also you could turn it into a little journal or a little flat mailer type of passport situation. This little lace-edged trifold that is pre-scored, so you don't have to worry about folding it unneatly. And that little vellum piece just had a little bit of ice coloring on it. This is a full sticker sheet that I finally figured out my Cricut. Who knew buying the actual Cricut sticker paper would actually make my Cricut behave and cut like it's supposed to? That was washi tape samples, essentially. I left it whole in case you wanted to cut it yourself or use it as a full background. That's up to you. I'll be using it later in the video to show you how I did it. But first, because it has to dry, I wanted to make this little cute rustic kind of holiday napkin into some faux rice paper. So if you haven't made faux rice paper before, it works with pretty much any single ply, single layered tissue or like paper serviette napkin kind of texture. And I'm painting the Mod Podge on on mine with wax paper, but as you'll see later in the video, that's not ideal because it can rip off on like glue and stick to the back of your dried napkin. If you have a sheet of thick plastic, that's nice, but I couldn't find mine, and on top of it I did use a hairdryer to speed up some of my drying because I was trying to fit this in a one-day video and not a multi-day video. And with plastic, a lot of times it will, even with like a low heat hairdryer, it will still warp and melt and all of that fun things that plastic tends to do. So I decided to just use the wax paper, and it's okay. I kind of wanted it looking a little messy anyway. I knew I was only going to be using a small piece for the mailer I had in mind, but at least I got to show you the technique. This is also a good technique to use with like watered down Elmer's glue or school glue, PVA glue, depending on where you live. It's all the same thing. It's just called different things. But I used just straight Mod Podge with a little bit of kind of dipping my brush in water on and off because I wanted it to be really stiff, and you want heavier glue or Mod Podge if you want that result. So that's what I did this first time, and then I redid it on the back just to make it more translucent. I will also link 2 videos that I have using this technique in making both a journal cover out of just some scrap fabric and a napkin, as well as how to make stiff fabric envelopes that are no-sew. You use this similar technique in both, so hopefully that's useful for you. It's just not as stiff as this technique. This is a little ceramic pen cutter that I've been using quite a lot, and it's really nice for cutting out shapes without bending paper. And I wanted the actual vintage card that I scanned and made this from actually has this little window in it, and then the picture is on the inside of the card and there's writing below it. And so I wanted that effect with a little window that has the middle tree that had the bows on it of the rice paper. And I wish I would have just created a frame to go around it so that you could kind of see through the rice paper. What I did kind of defeated the purpose of making the rice paper in the first place. But I don't know, I was in a weird mood when I was crafting, and that happens, it happens to me. Does it happen to you where you want to be creative and you want to work on things and you're kind of in a weird mood and just you make decisions you normally wouldn't, and it turns out okay, but when you're finished with it, you're glad you did it anyway because you feel good and you feel like relaxed, and you practiced a technique that you know better for next time. And I don't know, I was kind of in that today, and hopefully it still looks good. I think it looks good, but I still wish I would have made it more of a window, a true window. Anyway, so I also used a few little die cuts and things that aren't included in this month's Ephemera Club parcel, just because we all have our own stashes and we all have our own little embellishments we like to add. And these die cuts, I think I found them at Hobby Lobby, I want to say. And just the teddy bear was going to fit perfectly, and I tried to keep with the same color scheme and the theme of, a very vintage, traditional Yuletide Christmas time, because that was the theme that Ephemera Club chose this month. Now, if you're not part of Ephemera Club, the measurements for making this with whatever paper that you want are super, super easy. I created and designed and printed all of these on a home printer, so it is a standard 8.5 by 11 page, and the craft paper is as well. The brown plain craft paper is just an 8.5 by 11 cut vertically, so that would work out to be 4 by 11.5 or 11 if you wanted to make it easy on yourself. And the outer piece, that's the vintage designs on the outside of what I'm doing, that is going to be 8 by 5.5. So if you want to make the insert fit neatly inside the outside piece, then you would want to cut off probably an extra inch on the short edge. I kind of liked it sticking out and I made a little skirt to go on the bottom, but I might go back and add some tabs or something. I don't know. I ran out of daylight and the video is already long. I might go back and embellish this and write and everything else a little bit more. Now, I did include this little pocket score on the lacy edge. I wasn't going to, but then the way it folded inside the envelope and just it just worked out that way. I didn't pre-fold it though, so if you're not crazy about where the score is, you can just ignore it, because I didn't actually do the folding. It's there in case the line's there in case you want it as a guide. But I wanted to make it into a cute little pocket to try to highlight the lacy edge, as well as stick one of those little stocking ephemeras in there as a little extra. And then I know y'all probably saw in my Victorian Christmas video the little embellishment, wax seal embellishment I did on the paper clip. I'm just in that mood of making cute paper clips right now, and I'm using them a lot in my journals for adding scrapbooking things of, tickets to shows and little bits of wrapping paper, and just it's an ephemera time of year, right? We get a lot of cute little things that we want to save. So I'm into making embellished paper clips right now. And so while that was drying, I thought I would add a little interest. I didn't want to decorate this middle insert very much because first it reminds me of that song of like brown paper packages tied up with strings. And so I wanted to leave the brown craft paper quite naked. But I did want just something that maybe looked like a little snowflake and a little texture on it, because I'm going to be writing in the middle of it. And I have a French pen pal whom I have not written back in probably 3 or 4 months. She probably thinks I'm not going to write her back, and I am going to. It's just I've had a very busy semester. So I'm going to have some downtime over the holidays, and I'm planning to get back to my couple of pen pals that I have. And so I'm planning to write quite a lot in the blank spaces I'm leaving. And so that's why this one isn't super embellished. I'm going to write all in the middle of the little brown piece, and then on the back of the more obscured back page of the letter. But as far as the little clip goes, I wanted it to look like someone was opening a cute little snail mail envelope, and the music paper is the background. It's a scrap from the background of this month's printable that had the pretty little envelopes in it, also featured in the Victorian Christmas video that I will link. But I had put that as the background, and most of it's taken up with the actual ephemera that was meant to, but I like adding cute backgrounds for this purpose of just little things and scraps. If you use expensive paper and lots of printer ink, I want it to be worth the whole thing. So I had this cute little miniature scrap and decided to add the music paper because obviously the holidays are very, at least in America, are very focused on the music, and a little picture from the original vintage letter, and then of course we have to add a tiny wax seal, because if you have been around here at all, is it even my channel if we don't have a tiny wax seal? So, and I have a cute little deer one, which was going to be perfect because it kind of looks like a reindeer. And I think this is my favorite thing I made of this whole video, of this whole crafting session. Alright friends, here is the finished product. Maybe not quite finished because I feel like I need to go back and do a couple of things and of course write my letter. So we'll see if I do a video for that. I might just keep this on personal, but I like all of the little embellishments, and of course we know I like texture, so hopefully this gives you some ideas. You could definitely make some pockets for tags and longer letters for sending tea packets or gift cards, all kinds of things. This fits very nicely into a regular A7 envelope. You could probably maybe go even a little bit smaller, but a nice chunky little flat mailer that hopefully people would be happy to receive. And of course you could have more writing space in both of those. I just wanted to have a little extra embellishment there. But if you made it to the end, please leave me a little embellished tree emoji, because I just want to know who stuck around for the end. I hope you have a wonderful and restful New Year's, and I will see you again soon, friends. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful week. Bye.